Hey, Steeler Nation, we have the extreme pleasure of having one of our alumni cornerbacks, two-time Super Bowl champion, now announcer for CBS Sports, Bryant McFadden. B-Mac, how are you doing, sir? And thank you for joining the Steeler Nation Draft Show.
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me.
That's great. And now you've been doing sports announcing almost exclusively since you've left football. You've been doing an awesome job. I know you're really into the draft. So I wanted to get your take since you played for the Steelers and kind of, I imagine, still our communication with them. Who do you think would be a good pick, or which way do you think they should be going this year?
Well, when you look at the Steelers getting ready for this upcoming season, I think the positional needs that we all know of, in no particular order, would be running back, offensive line, and edge rusher. You know what I mean? So I think those are the three important priorities the Steelers need to resolve at some point in time early on in this draft. So it depends on the players that fall when the Steelers are up to select their first round selection. And I think that would determine which direction they will go. But clearly they need to improve in the depth at the running back position, the offensive line, losing some key pieces from last year, especially when you look at the quarterback of the offensive line and Pouncey, and then, trying to find, not necessarily saying the heir apparent to Bud Dupree, but continue to add production to that area on the defensive side would be huge.
And that's a good point. A lot of analysis around the Steelers in the draft don't really take the edge as being as much of a priority is what you're saying, but you're 100% right. There's really no depth behind Highsmith and TJ, and it would be, a disservice to the Steelers not to address that position early on. And I'm also interested to know about your thoughts, because this is a need that I thought you were going to bring up. You playing the position of cornerback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know with them losing Nelson recently, I know they have some off-field troubles with Lane here for a little bit. So we're still going to figure out how that works out. But now with Mike Hilton leaving in free agency and Sutton now moving from the nickel cornerback, it looks like, to possibly be the edge quarterback. Now the Steelers went from having two great nickel corners to it looks like having basically none if Sutton's going to be playing the edge. So I also think the cornerback is a big need for the Steelers. And are there any cornerbacks that you see that look really good in the top of the draft, day one, day two, that would be good fits for the Steelers?
Yeah, I think when you look at that position, you never can have enough good corners, cover corners, and good guys that can tackle the football as well. The Steelers are selecting 24th in this draft. So the top tier guys probably will be gone. You know what I mean? And we're hearing speculations with Caleb Farley that he could fall. I do believe that will happen, but will he fall that far for the Steelers to be able to draft him? I don't think so.
Okay.
So if you're talking about maybe drafting a cornerback in the first round, a guy that could be available is a guy that played at Florida State, and Asante Samuel Jr., who I know very, very well. He's a feisty corner. He's like a Steeler before becoming a Steeler because he plays with that Steeler mentality. A chip on his shoulder. He's not afraid of any task that may be before him. And he just goes out and he makes every battle personal. You know what I mean? So I think that is a name that could be available right around the time the Steelers select, if we're talking about maybe addressing the cornerback position in the first round. But who knows? The thing about the draft and why we're so hyped about the draft, it's entertaining, and you have to expect the unexpected.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So for us, it's almost like trying to, when you associate the draft and trying to predict what will happen, it's like trying to predict March Madness. No one has the perfect bracket. You know what I mean? No one will have the perfect mock draft. No one will have the perfect mock draft analysis. You know what I mean? And that's why we're so hyped up for today, because who knows what will happen. But to answer your question, I think he could be that could be a player that could be right there for the Steelers to select if they decide to go that position in the first round.
That's perfect. And also with trades coming in and out, you never know how the positions are going to even switch up, and that even changes the draft even more. That's part of why we love watching it as well. So
exactly.
B-Mac, I really thank you so much for your time and your input on the draft today. Hopefully the Steelers follow your model. We get ourselves a good lineman or running back, edge player, possibly cornerback, but we'll see how they do. And we'll be checking you out. Tell Steeler Nation how to follow you too during the draft and where you're going to be.
Steeler Nation, make sure you follow me on social media. All 3 handles is the same name, BMAC_sports talk. You definitely can check me out throughout the draft, starting with round 1, second day players as well on CBS Sports HQ. I also have my own podcast and YouTube channel. The name of my podcast is called All Things Covered, that I do. I'm a co-host with my cousin Patrick Peterson. Some Steeler notables that we've had on in past episodes: Mike Tomlin, Juju Smith-Schuster, Jerome Bettis, Mel Blount. So don't worry, I am a bit biased because I love having my fellow Steeler alum on, and we will continue to do so getting ready for this upcoming season. So if you like listening to podcasts, give us a shout. If you like watching podcasts on YouTube, give us a shot as well. You won't be disappointed.
Perfect. Steeler Nation, you know where to check out BMAC. Check out those great interviews and great podcasts. And thank you once again for joining us on the draft day today, Brian. And we're looking forward to watching you and listening to more of your podcasts.
Thank you.